Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday, September 3rd. My name is Elena Barbera. Welcome to the Based Mother Show. Today, we're going to talk about some of Kamala's antics from over the weekend. The most troubling among her antics is her determination to eliminate our constitutional rights. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about what happened to some American service members in Turkey over the weekend. Maryland Governor Wes Moore, who was dishonest about receiving a Bronze Star. There's a lot happening. Let's get to it.
Have you heard of the based mother?
All right, guys, I'm sure, unless you've been living under a rock, you have heard what Kamala Harris did over the weekend. She was in Detroit and she was speaking at one of her rallies, and she speaks in complete Black voice. She puts on this effect on her voice as if she's I don't even know what Black voice really is, but it's just this more emotional intonation that she didn't have in her other speech this weekend in Pittsburgh. Let's look at Kamala putting on Black voice first.
Member for sick leave, you better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
Vacation time? I mean, do people talk like that? I don't know, but Kamala thinks they do. Except when she goes and she talks to a whiter crowd, this is how she talks.
Unions for sick leave. Thank unions for paid family leave. Thank unions for your vacation time.
In that case, when she says time, she does time through her nose, which is how she always talks. She's very nasally. I honestly don't care. But what I hope is that people who are listening to her are really not that stupid to believe that all of a sudden she's one of them. I mean, listen, you want to come at me. I grew up in Brooklyn and then I lived in Boston for a lot of my adult life. I can turn on either accent like that. I'm not going to fake it with anybody, but if anybody wants to come at me, they're from Kentucky and they want to come talking at me with a Brooklyn accent or a Boston accent, I'll tell you, you better be making a joke. You better be having some fun, because if you think that you're going to do that and I'm going to take you seriously and you're going to be like, you're one of me, and I'm going to know you're a phony. Like, nobody likes a phony. I guess actually that's not true. A lot of people like a phony, because a lot of people like Kamala. She changes her accent all the time. She pretends to be more Black than she is. Her whole life she was Indian, and then she washes collard greens in the bathtub, which is disgusting. It's disgusting. Who would say that? Who would say that? We cooked so many collard greens, we had to wash them in the tub. Give me a break. She acts like she grew up in some, shack on the edge of a farm somewhere. She grew up in like a rich suburb. I mean, this chick, she is just something else with the fakeness. Like, I don't care how you feel about Trump. If you can't stand him, you get what you get. Yeah, what you see is what you get with him. I mean, he's pretty consistent across the board. He's not pulling all these chameleons and putting on costumes and pretending to be something he's not. It's really exhausting watching her. But, she has this, way of being able to do whatever she wants. But at the same time, she wants to oversee what you say, what you do. Kamala Harris has it out for the First Amendment, and she wants to destroy your rights to free speech in America. Look at this clip of her talking about how she thinks Twitter and all the social medias should have more government oversight.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that has to stop.
No, what has to stop is you're trying to oversee and regulate free speech. That's what has to stop. So what's going on social media? The only free speech they should be infringing upon are things that aren't free speech anyway. So child pornography is just a classic example of something that is illegal. It does not fall under the First Amendment as free speech because there is a crime being committed against children there. So yes, they should regulate that, regulate those things and make sure they are not on the platform. And yes, and if need be, the government should make sure that they're not allowing criminals like that to sell children and pictures of children in a bad way. Sure, I'll agree with you up to that point. But again, those are things that are not classified as free speech anyway. Everything else Kamala disagrees with. She thinks that she should have the say over social media companies and over all of us on what it is that's appropriate to say. We're not allowed to disagree. We're not allowed to debate. If my neighbor down the block starts spreading a rumor about somebody on the block, you know what I do? What do I do? Do I tell him he can't speak anymore? No. I am a human being. I can go out and I can tell the truth to all the neighbors, and I can spread the truth, and I can look at that neighbor and I can say, stick it. I don't want to hear your lies anymore. And I can stop engaging with them. It's the same thing on social media. But maybe there was a question or a kernel of truth in what that neighbor had to say that created another conversation. She cannot do this to us. It is unconstitutional. But that's the thing. She doesn't really care about the Constitution. And just like the way the Democrats gaslight us with every other thing that they do, they are gaslighting and saying that Donald Trump wants to rip up the Constitution and blah, blah, blah. Oh, and then the New York Times this week had an op-ed piece come out where it's saying the Constitution itself is dangerous and should be reconsidered. Like, they can't find enough ways to try to destroy our rights. And she also wants to take your guns, but we're not talking about that today. I'm focusing on free speech. And I will remind you again that, she was the one who was actively trying to get Donald Trump's Twitter taken down. And wait, hold on a sec. You might remember this from a few years ago, where she turned around and she said, let's be honest, Donald Trump's Twitter account should be suspended. Add your name to my letter calling on Jack to suspend Trump from this platform. That was 2019. So this isn't new to her, suspending free speech, things that she doesn't like. And she'll say, because he was inciting, in violence, which is utter nonsense. And I'm so sick of hearing that, because anyone that has ever listened to a full speech of his knows that he's not inciting violence. It's so boring. And I quite frankly, there's no reason for her to be doing this other than she just wants complete tyranny and control over the minds and the people, as usual. And it's funny because she's doing this in other ways too, because part of the First Amendment is the right of a free press to tell the truth and to investigate. And when she pulled this stunt over the weekend, she was preventing that also. Look at this. Now, let me play that again here. What you're looking at is Kamala Harris stepping out of the limo with a phone and wired headphones in so that she doesn't have to take questions from the press. It's obvious she's too busy. She's connected. She looks like a kid who's avoiding their parents when they know they're going to get in trouble, when they know the school calls that day. Watch this at the end though. Watch what this moron does. I hit the wrong button. She does. Right here. She stops. And even though she's got headphones in, she's holding the phone up to her ear. She is such a terrible liar, such a fool. She just makes a fool out of herself. No, everybody does this. I don't know anybody who doesn't just pretend to be busy. I mean, you're walking in the supermarket and you see somebody you don't like. Oh, I'm just going to pretend I'm on the phone or something because I do not want to talk to this broad. She's a nightmare, right? Everybody does it. But this woman is running for president and running from the press day in and day out. That interview she gave last week was weak and pathetic. There's a lot of debate tonight. 1 week from tonight, she's supposed to be debating Trump. And there's a lot of debate on whether or not she's going to show up. Is she going to all of a sudden get COVID, or is some big tragedy going to happen that she all of a sudden has to attend to because all of a sudden she's going to try to do something as vice president? What is it? What is it? Or is she going to actually show up? What do you guys think? I'm really not sure. I'm on the fence, because I don't have full confidence that she has the nerve to show up. This is a woman who is infringing on the press's rights to have conversations and be transparent with the American people. She's getting in the way again and again and again. Doesn't really surprise me. This happened yesterday at the Minnesota State Fair. This gentleman was talking about Tim Walz and his VP debate, and he was setting it up and talking about it. And I'm just going to give you the punchline in advance, and you'll see it for yourself. And as he was spreading some cold, hard truth about how the Harris campaign is manipulating things, all of a sudden, magically, the news feed went down. This is unbelievable. Sorry if this is a little slow. Oh. Something's going wrong. I'm doing something wrong. What else is new? Here we go.
The governor has agreed to a debate on October 28th. You're not thrilled about that.
Esme, you and I both know that that's a sham. Early voting starts in less than 3 weeks. Come on. What's happening is Tim Walz wants to have one debate as late as he can, potentially after 50% of Minnesotans have voted, and say, see, all the major news programs understand that I've had a debate. At this time, 4 years ago, Tim Walz had participated in 4 debates. He's absolutely been shutting them down. He wants to do this one debate so far into it, just before Halloween, and you know that he's actually using you to put out his message that I want to debate. He doesn't want.
Look at this.
Looks like we lost that feed right there. You were just.
Yeah, we lost that feed right there because the guy was telling the truth. He's going to debate 6 weeks after early voting opens in Minnesota. 6 weeks. So we're not really going to be able to see what he's like up against J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance is going to eat him alive. All of this early voting is a manipulation. He's debating him on October 28th, a week before the election, giving all the people who with mail-in and early voting no chance to see him debate and see him stand against his opponent in time for their votes. Please, more manipulation of the press. And then for the press themselves to just shut off that feed because they don't like what's being said about the governor, because they're being paid and manipulated and forced and influenced by the government. Yeah. As if we're all too stupid to see what's really going on. I mean, some people are. I mean, and that's unfortunate. But Tim Walz, reminds me, when I think of him, I think about all of his, on top of the manipulations, I think about the lies, one of which was, that he was a combat veteran and his stolen valor. And we have yet another Democrat who has been accused of stolen valor. This time, we're looking at the current governor of Maryland, Wes Moore. Where'd my boy go? There he is. Wes Moore, current governor of Maryland. What he did was he actually said that he was awarded a Bronze Star for his service in the United States Army. Okay, do you know how courageous and brave you need to be, and what your service needs to look like to get a Bronze Star? It's wild that he would do this. But here's what happened. He's got an excuse. So he says that in 2006, he was applying for a White House fellowship. And at the time, he had been nominated for a Bronze Star. So, hey, kudos. I respect his service. He did do, I believe, 2 tours in Afghanistan, or one Afghanistan and one of Iraq. Like, this is a brave man. He fought in combat. I would never take that away from him. But it bothers me that he's a dishonest disappointment, another dishonest disappointment from a politician. And so what happened, his superior Lieutenant Colonel, I think his name, what is it? Fenzel, the guy's name was. He said, let's put the Bronze Star on your application for the White House Fellowship. And so he said, but I haven't gotten it yet. And the Lieutenant Colonel said, yes, but we've all recommended you and it's going to go through. So just put it on there. Now, this could have easily been solved by saying Bronze Star, candidate, or recommended for a Bronze Star, anything like that, instead of saying Bronze Star recipient, which he was not. So anyway, he gets the fellowship at the White House, and then he never gets the Bronze Star. He didn't get it. So for, because you can recommend somebody for a Bronze Star, Medal of Honor, any type of military award, and then it goes to, a group of people who evaluate it, and some get yes and some get no'd, and his got nixed. So he didn't get it. Now, he never corrected it with the White House, so he gets the fellowship. Okay, so now you got this prestigious opportunity, take it, never bother to correct the fact that you didn't get it. And he's like, oh, I just kind of forgot about it. No, you don't forget about something like that. You don't forget that you didn't get the Bronze Star when you thought you were getting the Bronze Star. I mean, what are we, stupid? Yes, he thinks we're stupid. So then in 2008 and in 2010, he was on two different news shows where he's sitting there and they introduce him as being a Bronze Star recipient. Both times. He doesn't correct them. Let me show you. You can see what this guy did. It's the first one.
Or a captain in the U.S. Army Reserve, while on active duty, he completed a combat tour of duty in Afghanistan and earned a Bronze Star medal. Welcome to you all.
Okay. The rest of that clip goes on. Zero correction. No, nope. And then he did it again on the Stephen Colbert show. And look at this. He just sits there and smiles when he says it.
Decorated veteran of the Afghan War, yes, correct? Get the Bronze Star.
Yeah, while they're all applauding for him, he's just smiling and nodding. Yep, Bronze Star. That's me. Are you kidding me, fella? Then in 2013, the Milwaukee Sentinel Journal did an article about Wes Moore, and in it, they said he got a Bronze Star, never requested a correction from the newspaper. So it just goes on and on. This guy just let this ride. Like, I'll just let him think I got the Bronze Star. And now he's calling it an honest mistake. And once again and again, we are being disappointed and let down by politicians. And these are on big issues. I'm sorry, but this is a big thing. This is like, Pocahontas saying that she's an Indian so that she can get special treatment and special acceptance to certain things. I don't like these lies. This is like a man saying that he's a woman so he can take a woman's scholarship and a woman's, a spot on a sports team. I don't know. Very disappointing. And I know this happens on all sides. Most politicians start out well-intentioned and something happens in there. Once they step into the arena, they get tempted, they get bribed, they get honeypotted, whatever goes on. Most of them come out lying, demonic snakes. And I have so little faith in our politicians, all of them. Really frustrating watching these people and how they treat us and nothing's going to happen to him. Like, no one's going to be like, let's recall this lying piece of garbage. In Maryland, in his state, 30% of the students, less than 1/3 are proficient in math at their grade level. Less than 1/3. In Baltimore, that number is 7%. 93% of the kids can't do math at their grade level in Baltimore. But this guy's going to stand and smile and shake hands with dignitaries and smile and wave and live high on the hog. I mean, there's just no expectations anymore. There's no bar. It's just like we just get them in and then just let them destroy the country around us. And nobody holds these politicians accountable anymore. It's like this weird celebrity worship that they just get to do whatever they want. Meanwhile, then we've got this horrible situation, speak of actual valor, where the USS Wasp is the Navy ship or submarine. I don't know what they do. Forgive me. They're in Turkey. Some of the guys get off the ship. They have some leave. They're going to explore the town and they get attacked by a group of men who are in the young Turkish Youth Union. Okay. So just walking down the street, checking it out in a place where we were always respected and treated well. But now we have this. They were screaming, "Yankee, go home." They threw a sack over that young man's head. I'm going to mute it and show you guys again. Look at this. His friend jumped in to try to save him. There were other servicemen there involved in the melee. This is a terrible situation caused by poor leadership, weak leadership in the White House. This didn't happen in the past. So this group, this Turkish, God, I keep forgetting the name, Turkish Youth Union, they put out, people who said they were them, put out this statement on Twitter today. "We put sacks on the U.S. soldiers serving on the largest attack ship of the USA, the USS Wasp. U.S. soldiers who carry the blood of our soldiers and thousands of Palestinians on their hands cannot dirty our country. Every time you step into these lands, we will welcome you as you deserve." Yeah, so they've now threatened the United States military. And what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to guess nothing, nada. Joe's still on the beach. Kamala's, trying to concoct a way to get out of the debate next week. Probably going to start, I don't know, start a plague or, set off some bombs somewhere, do something so that she just can't make it because her job is too important. That's just what we're doing. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. And it's a crying shame. We need strength back in the White House. I, as an American, sitting in my home, feel less safe than I ever have. The only time I have ever felt unsafe in this country is right after 9/11. We didn't know if another attack was coming. We were hearing reports of people that we knew who were dead. We were hearing, about the anthrax in the mail. We didn't know what was coming next. It was a really scary time. I was, in my 20s at the time. So I was awake, adult, aware of what was going on. It was heartbreaking on top of being heartbroken. Now I feel that way again. I'm just waiting for something terrible to happen. And I'm not the only one. I'm not just some nut job sitting here waiting. Anybody who's paying even a little bit of attention knows that something's going to go down. There were reports this morning of another Venezuelan gang taking over an apartment complex in Chicago. I haven't even had the time to investigate it to really or research and see if it's true. But why wouldn't it be true? If they can do it in Colorado and they're looking and they're seeing another gang or the same gang, I don't know, in Colorado taking things over and nothing is happening to them. They're getting rich. They're walking around with guns. Where are they getting these guns, by the way? Where are they getting these guns? It's hard to imagine that people with no money who are just here for a better life could have thousands of dollars to purchase guns and use them to threaten Americans. But that's what's happening. Not a word from the administration about it. We are literally being invaded. If you're not packing, you better learn. I showed a video recently about the young woman in Aurora, Colorado. She's a young mother. She's not able to take her children out. She goes, when we go out to the park, we go in groups. But even when we go in groups, we have to bring pepper spray or mace. And she goes, I don't like guns. I'm afraid of them. And I'm just thinking, watching this girl going, well, it's time to get over that fear. Because I don't know, I'm more afraid of being raped and murdered by Venezuelans than I am of guns. I mean, give me a break. You got to make them afraid of you, honey. We're going to have the Wild West here. It's going to be shootouts in the streets of America. Invaders versus Americans. And then who's going to get locked up? We are. Yeah, it's going to be so great. But last but not least, I just want to leave you with this little beauty. Because I am all about the children. And I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to talk about it. Little girls are being convinced by their parents that they're little boys, to the point that parents are going on the internet and purchasing these. Do you know what this is? This is a 2-inch trans packer. So it's a pecker. Look at that. So yeah, that's what it is. It's a trans packer, which is basically a little pecker that a little girl is stuffing into her pants so that she can walk around and have a little bulge and feel like a little boy. This is child abuse. This is insanity. Anyone that is doing this and convincing their child that they're born in the wrong body and messing with their minds and playing with their genitals and making them stuff things in their pants is an insano and belongs in an asylum. And I do not, or should I say, I 100% believe that. And I will not have these trans maniacs telling me that this is healthy, this is good, this is normal. It is not. This is child abuse. But at least she can get her pecker in any color that she wants or any shade of skin. I mean, I do hope that that's enough shades for you to choose from. These are about $45 to brainwash your child. I can't imagine being a little girl and having my dad look at me and go, honey, did you put your pecker in today? Like, what? What's going on? How dare these people do this to these children? But here we are, America 2024. And this is where, I'm trying so hard to stay calm. And, we have to look at, we got to, I try to go back to the Bible and say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They don't know what they're doing. Or they do know what they're doing. That's what scares me too, that they do know what they're doing and they're doing it anyway. All right, guys, stay aware, keep your head on a swivel, stay patient, keep your head about you. God bless you. God bless America. I'm out. See you Friday night. Oh, wait. Go to the Patriots Prayer Network on Rumble. Make sure to subscribe and sub here wherever you're watching. Like the video. There are a lot of different hosts on the Patriots Prayer Network that are killing it. And we've got some really great conversations. All of us are a little bit different, but the one thing we have in common is that we are all patriots. We love this country and we want to get the word out and spread some truth and wake up as many people as we can before November 5th. So help us do that. Again, God bless you. God bless America. Bye, guys.
Have you heard of the based mother?